yesterday's encounter, the first match on tour in Austria?
Yeah, disappointed first of all with the losing. We never like losing. Sometimes you say a bad result but a good performance, but I would need to say and have to say now it was both a bad result and I think it was a bad performance in the sense that we can do much better than we did today. So could probably find some excuses for it. I think the beginning of the game showed that it is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even 4 weeks since the players played the last match. Most of them are coming back to training and playing from a holiday. So I knew they would be rusty. I hope we would have more trainings prior to the game. So, but I think overall we can see a lot of things we need to fix and improve quickly. Maybe that's a good thing. We'll see in the next performance. But I was disappointed both with the performance and the result.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Adrian. So this is the opportunity now, folks, where you indicate by raising your hand and you'll be identified. Once you're identified, identify yourself and your organization and proceed to ask your question. You are allowed 2 questions per individual, one for Coach and also one to Adrian as well. So you may proceed to raise your hand and we will get started with proceedings in the question and answer segment. Not all at once, guys. Yes, yes. Anybody questions? All right, let's start with MG Sports. You may go ahead.
You hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. You can proceed.
Good afternoon, Coach Mariappa and Simon. Question to the coach. Based off today's performance, I know you're looking at players going into the Gold Cup competition. Based off today's performance, would you say you have seen any positive or any player that you said that this player would have stake a claim moving towards the Gold Cup squad selection?
Yeah, first of all, if I can look at the positives, I think first of all to play this game without an injury so early in the restart of training, I think that is a big positive for us. It's always risky this first match and this early in training, so that is a positive. Regarding the players, yes, some of them had really good performances. We are seeing, or I am seeing the first time, Dijon Bernard played 30 minutes and Latibatier played 90 minutes today. So that was really pleasing for me to see them coming in without almost any training sessions, a few meetings, and maybe an hour and a half on the pitch. So that was pleasing for me. And I knew and I know some of the players now that were today normally give a good performance. So I was pleased with that. They're keeping their standards, but yeah, I think most of the players can say I can do a lot better than I did today. So to be fair, to answer the question, I think they were more like players that punched themselves out and punched themselves in the game today. But in all honesty, I think it's normal that the performance is not top level in the first game, in 2 training sessions, and then 1 game.
Any question for Adrian?
Yeah, question to Adrian. As an experienced member in the squad, the squad has a lot of new players, new faces, also young players, i.e. like Mr. Dujan Richards. What role do you play in grooming these players at the international level?
Yeah, obviously just having dialogue with them every day, getting to know them as people. But they've integrated themselves really well into the squad anyway. And it's a squad where if you are a new player, it is easy to integrate yourself. Obviously, having the more training sessions you have, the more games you have, you get to know what's expected and the standards that are expected as well. And, for those players as well, it's about bringing, what they bring to the table to the squad as well. So yeah, look, as an experienced player, you know, there's no special thing I have to do. It's just obviously making them feel welcomed and, you know, trying to get the best out of them and making the environment, you know, one that produces that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much, MG. Let's now go over to Tyrone Davis from Sports Down the Middle.
Thank you, Simon. Good day, coach and good assistant, Simon. Today's game, did you have anybody in particularly that you can single out that said they did an excellent job?
I don't want to take anyone kind of out from this game, because in the end, I don't think we can use it as a reference, but it's a really good start for the campaign. I don't want to take a player, but like I said before, for the first time seeing Latibedier, I know he's normally not playing central midfield, but he's a really versatile player. So for me, it was pleasing to see a guy come in and play 90 minutes and doing a good job in a position that he's normally not playing. But it's so important when you go into a tournament like the Gold Cup to have a player that can play more than one position, so we can change tactically without doing a substitution, and we can do a substitution without, you know, doing multiple movements on the pitch without changing many players. So and we don't know, in a tournament like this you could lose 2 right backs or 2 left backs, so it's good to have versatile players. That was pleasing for me, maybe a standout in my eyes, because I hadn't seen him play in the Jamaican shirt before. So yeah.
Okay. And for the next game, any major changes we're gonna see? Any major changes? Anybody else you're gonna try?
No, this game we used all our substitutions, I think. Maybe you had one more, but this game only Brendan Glover and Cornaya Boyce Clark did not play. So yeah, we will not see new faces. We will not see new faces because we don't have them. We have 17 players in the squad, so they will hopefully all participate in the next game.
Okay, thank you, coach.
All right, thanks, Tiga. Let's now go to Eddie Guna from Eddie Vision.
Thank you very much, Simon. Good night, gentlemen. Coach, you said that it was a bad performance. Could you give us a grade from 1 to 10 as it relates to the performance?
I would say a 5. I would give it a 5.5.
5.5. Okay. And going forward, who were some of the standout players?
No, I just said I don't think there was a standout performance on the pitch today, and I said also understandably, because players are just returning back to training after 3 weeks, some players 2 weeks, and then we have a few MLS players that are in action at the moment. So for me, it is understandable that no one had like a what do you call it, like a 5-star performance today. But I would expect a lot of players to have a better performance next game.
And a question from Maps.
Go ahead, Eddie.
All right, Mariapa, we're up against Trinidad and Tobago once more. Are you looking forward for some form of revenge based on the last 2 games?
Yeah, listen, this is obviously now it's, you know, tournament football, so it's not friendlies, and you know we'll be going into this, you know, into the Gold Cup looking to win every match. So you know, not so much revenge. We're going in there just, you know, to do the job. That's all we're focused on, and you know, I think that's the way it needs to be.
All right, thank you, Max.
Thanks, Eddie. Let's now go to Emil Smith.
Yes. Hello, good night. You guys are hearing me clearly?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, good day. This question is more tailored to both the coach and Maria. All right, so we understand that these games are used to prepare the team for the Gold Cup tournament. So now the fans are really concerned about some of our star players' commitment level. And with this tournament being held, and most of them are missing the likes of Leon Bailey, Omari Hutchinson, the Demari Gray, who found out that the paperwork is missing. How impactful or with these players missing from the squad, how badly will it affect us going forward?
Well, Amir, let me just jump in there, and coach in the pre-match press conference actually address this point that, there will be some players actually joining up for the Gold Cup that will actually meet us there. So if there is a part two to your question towards maps, or if coach wants to jump in and at an auxiliary point, then no problem. But the question that you raised, coach addressed it in the pre-match presser.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Amari Hutchinson falls into that category as well.
So it's a tricky question. It was about Omari, but no. We said we don't want to talk about players who are not here much, but we addressed who will be showing up in the players who will be showing up in Chicago when we get there. And I said also, ideally, of course, and that was originally the plan, that we could have the final squad here in Austria. But soon we realized because of many reasons that we couldn't. So we brought in some younger players here to look at them and to fill up the squad for us here in Austria.
Okay, thanks. And a question for Mariapa. Mariapa, you've been one of Jamaica's most committed and standout players over the years. I just want some perspective from you on where you see this Jamaica team going forward under the helm of Coach Aldrimson.
Yeah, look, I've got high hopes for the team and the squad. There's definitely been assembled. The players that are involved are some real top players, and are all in very good form for their club team. So it's just about gelling that together now. And there's a packed schedule coming up for the next few months and the next few years, really. So yeah, I've got high hopes for the team and the squad, like I said.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Emil. Let's go to Coach Minzy from Coach's Desk.
All right, good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm not sure if this question was asked before, but Coach, a few games now, and I know that these games are prep for the Gold Cup. However, are you a bit concerned about not getting any tick in the W column?
Yeah. Easy answer, yes. Of course I am concerned. I want to win every match. But I know the difference between a friendly and an official game. And I have always, and this is just how I've used my time, I've always used the friendlies to think about what is coming up. I've said many times, probably if we went 4 games and just thinking about winning the matches, we would probably set up the team in a different way. But we try to use our friendlies to build and be ready when the official matches come. But if it continues in the Gold Cup, not to get any check in these boxes, of course I will be concerned.
Yes, Coach.
Right.
Any question for Max?
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Yes, Mario, you have been as well. I think Emil asked the question already. I just want to congratulate Maps on being a long-standing member of this team. He has, contributed exemplary to this setup. I would just wish you all the best. Any thought of slowing down anytime soon, Maps?
Unfair one, under the belt.
Yeah, well, look, thank you first and foremost, and yeah, look, I'm fully aware that I can't play forever. Even if your head tells you you can. But look, end of the day, I try not to look too far forward. I'm trying to enjoy these games and give everything I can for Jamaica while I'm here. I've come off the back of some good form from my club team as well. So, like I said, for me, I'm just trying to not look too far ahead, just concentrating on the here and now. And that's stood me in good stead so far. So I'll continue to do that.
Can I steal that question? Can I steal it? And be honest and talking from my heart. Normally, when you look at players, you look at some number. How old are they? And we have said we don't care how old the players are, if they are 17 or if they are 35, 36, 37, whatever they are. So after the Mexico match, he was not playing regularly, and in the back of my mind was maybe his time is come for the national team. But then I watched many of his matches since then. He played every match since Mexico until the end of the season. He was fantastic. So he's in much better shape now than he was when we played Mexico. So this is something strange. I'm gonna get his diet.
All right,
All right, thank you very much, Coach Minzy. Is there anybody else that would like to ask a question? We see some of the traditional media outlets online as well. Jermaine, anything that you would like to ask as well? We'll give a minute or so if you guys can indicate your hand and proceed with a question as well. So that is something that we can bear in mind as well. We have a few more minutes that we can be able to accumulate some questions. Football in 90, Jermaine Brown also within the chat as well. Thank you very much for everybody that was able to tune in. Any questions? Coach Minzy, is that your hand again?
Since nobody is utilizing the time, I might as well we just want to find out, team, about Omar Hutchinson. Is there any consideration for him going forward, or because he's a part of the 50-man pool?
Yeah, so just to be fair on that question and be honest about the question, him and his family are going through a lot of changes. He's moving places now, trying to get himself established at Chelsea. So they asked for some time not to play a national team match, and we granted that. So we are not pushing. We are giving the family that time. So he's not in consideration for the Gold Cup now, but hopefully in the future he will.
All right, I really appreciate that, Coach.
No problem.
Thanks very much again, Coach Minzy. Let's now go to Mr. Blake.
Good afternoon, coaches, and good afternoon, Mr. Preston and the team. Unfortunately, I've been in the waiting room and wasn't able to hear. So, Coach, if you could indulge, could you give your assessment of the game today and what areas of the team you were satisfied with and which areas of the team you had concerns? And part B, what do you plan to do to address any areas of weakness that you've seen for the Jordan game? And that's the first question. Based on it, I may have one follow-up, Simon.
Well, Coach addressed the first part in terms of his assessment of the game, but he can certainly answer your part B at this point.
Yeah, so I said before, I wasn't happy with the performance and the result. It was kind of sometimes you are happy with the performance and not the result. But I gave the reasons why I think we could have played better. So I'm not going to go into that again. But the things that we need to improve is number one, we need much more tempo in what we are doing. Given the reasons I said before, I think that will happen kind of automatically when we start to train regularly and play more matches. Secondly, I think tactically, we work too much as individuals, and that is what we will be working on the next days to sink in to our tactics, how we are doing things. I think both attacking wise and defensive wise, we are working too much as individuals today, and sadly, Qatar utilized that and found openings So yeah, that is maybe the two things that we will spend time on. So the fitness, the sharpness, the tempo, and then the tactical aspect, both attacking and defensive.
Yeah, just a reminder as well, Mr. Blake, that it's one question per person here. So one for coach and one for Adrian. So if you have a question for Adrian as well, you can please proceed as well.
Sorry, that will be Adrian, whom?
Adrian Mariappa, the captain of...
Captain. Oh, captain of the day. I really didn't have any question for the captain, but I noticed that the coach didn't address when I asked what were the areas that he was pleased about or satisfied with.
Yeah, there's some I think players that caught our eye. The new players seem to gel in quite quickly, so we were pleased with that. Before I said also the things like we played the match without injuries, and that's really important when you start to play so early in after stopping for holidays. If you play the third day of the training, normally you are afraid of injury. So there were a few things that pleased the eye. So yeah, these probably are the biggest one for me.
Thank you, coach. Thank you, captain. Thank you, Simon. That's the questions that I...
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blake. Eddie, you have another question?
Yes, thank you very much, Simon. I didn't get to ask a question at the last press conference, so this one is a bonus. All right, guys. This one is for the coach. The JPL players, Demario Phillips came on and did reasonably well. Can we now see a future for JPL players going forward?
There's always room in the national team for good players. Doesn't matter where they come from. Doesn't matter where they come from. I think Phillips came in with a power, with a positive power today. It was pleasing to see. I rate him highly as a player, and he comes, of course, straight from a season, so his fitness level is probably much better than some of the other players. So he's fresh, and he showed that, and it was really good attitude when he came in. He kind of changed the momentum in the game when he came. So I was happy with him.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Anybody else have any questions?
If there's no one, Mr. President, I'd like to sneak in a question. Coach, quickly, are there any additional players who will be joining the team prior to the Jordan game? And my last intervention would be, can you give us a word on Ronaldo Cephas, and whether he would be included in the second game, or are there any reasons for his non-inclusion? Thank you very much. And thank you, Simon.
No, I guess we are only 17. Of course, normally when you have a national team camp, we have 23 players. But I think because we had no injuries here, we're not going to call in more players. Again, just to be totally honest, we tried to get Cephas for this camp because he is in Europe, and it was inexpensive to get him flying in from here, but he needed to process a Schengen visa, and that takes a week, so it kind of ruled out the possibility of him joining.
Thank you, and all the best to the next game, coach and captain.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Blake. And finally, T-Guts.
Thank you, Simon. Mariappa, I just want to say also congratulations for your long standing with the team. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your commitment to the Reggae Boys. And coach, this one is for you. Don't worry yourself. I know you get a W very soon, and we think it's gonna come in our next match. So I'm looking forward for that W. You understand? Just look out for T-Gat saying congratulations for the first win for the Reggae Boys, and good luck for your next game.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much, T-Guts. And we would also like to say thank you very much as well to Coach Halgrimson and to Adrian Mariappa for their time in facilitating this post-match press conference. Thank you very much to you all as well for tuning in. For those of you that are in the group, this link will be sent to you, so you will have access to this post-match press conference. Don't forget as well to stay updated with all the latest in relation to Jamaican football. On Twitter, it is JFF_football. Same for Instagram and the new JFF website, jff.football.com, and also JFF Live as well on YouTube, so that you can get the latest content, interviews with players, a few snippets here and there in terms of players and their warm-up from training sessions, so you guys can stay tuned for that. All right, guys, thank you all so much. As you guys know, the next game is on the 19th. That's Monday, and that's 7 a.m. Jamaica time. That's 7 a.m. Jamaica time, and it will be around 1 p.m. UK time and 2 p.m. local time here in Austria. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be in touch quite soon.